Hey everyone, it's Rye bringing you a quick video here. I wanted to highlight a war I recently played against. And this is demonstrating a concept that's really popular, especially in the skirmish community. But I don't see a lot of people in free for all really using it. But it is probably one of the most important skills you can learn to properly abuse. So in this game, the context really doesn't matter, but we both have arties. Urban has a lot more hammers than me, but I have more arty built up. So in a long war, I'm going to lose. Okay. But I've done a good job of taking his first ring tiles, and I can support those tiles easily. We did trade a couple units beforehand, so I'm obviously in full unit production, as is he. He's currently getting teamed right now because his game is incredible, but most of his units were on my front. So this is going to highlight a specific area, and if you look at my mouse here, you'll see that in this, right around this city, there's a river, right? So there's a river kind of stretching down underneath, but not in front. So that means that if he wants to attack the city, he has to cross over a river. Now, this is very important because when he doesn't have the city and I have the city, that means he loses all movement attacking into the river. When I don't have the city, though, there's no river up front, so I'm able to freely go in and attack. Okay? Now, this is really important because that means every time he takes the city and I take it back from him, he loses a unit. Every time I take the city and then he takes it back, I don't. So I'm going to take a tally. And by the way, this is not anything against Urban at all. I think he played. This is probably the best game I've ever seen him play. So really well played on his part in this game. But this is a really important war concept that I wanted to cover. And I don't want anyone thinking that I'm going to start like a war guide series here or something like that. But I do think that this kind of video is really good. When I find specific instances to highlight, I'll try to do so here. So I'm going to put up a tally here, and we're just going to count the amount of units each one of us lost. Okay? So I'm going to play this on 2x speed, and we'll see what happens. All right, so I'm going to finish my roads here. Make sure I save my cav. Bring over all my arties. Make sure that they can, get in position to shoot. Maximize the amount of tiles I can shoot from. And I'm not going to take the city right away because taking the city right away makes it so that I can't take it back. And I always want to make sure that I can own control of the city at the end of the turn when I take it. Now, if he had more arty than me, it would be very hard for me to do so. But even if that was the case, and this is the important bit, even if that was the case, I'm going to pause it here for just a second. But even if it was the case that he had more arty, he's still losing a ton of units every time he takes the city. So even if he's able to like hold it after me, if I'm able to keep taking the city before he's able to take units out, especially if, he's crossing the river to do so, I'm always going to win in long term. So this is why this kind of thing is so incredible and so powerful. Now I wanted to pause here because I'm putting a lot of priority on this tile because the reason for that is, let's say this, I have a cav back here, and then it's going to take the city. It would get zocked, right, if there's a unit here. So I'm going to take this tile, and then I'm going to shoot the city so that I can avoid getting zocked. So we'll see that in action. He's probably going to take it back here, but just watch out for that. I'll try to highlight it the next time it happens. So he just took the city there. I'm going to try to move in, move my arty forward. All right, good. I'm moving that arty over so it gets more shots off. All right, so I'm kind of getting pummeled here. He's got a lot of stuff. He same turned me on Himeji this turn, so I'm fighting. He's also honor, so he's got double promos. I usually only have one. So this is a really disadvantageous war for me. So I haven't started the counter yet because it hasn't really been. This is just kind of normal war stuff. I just want to show like the factors of the city at large. So I'm going to take city here. All right, I'm screwing up here. Just take the city. Now I'm going to pull the cav out. And then I'm going to try to move some stuff up. Okay, so there was nothing in the city at the time. But that's one unit he lost. Pull the cav out. Now I'm able to, you know, trade better because he's got to spend shots on the city rather than on me. So Urban was having a really, really good game here. And if you guys want me to post the VOD of this, it ended in a scrap. That's why I didn't end up posting it. But I do think it's a pretty interesting war, even though he's getting teamed and whatnot. But still. All right. So he should try to save the cav here, and he does. So I'm going to take city again, move it out. I fuck up, and I no reason to do that, but I will lose one unit. Okay, Urban lost another one. Take another city. Pull the unit out. Urban lost 3. All right, take the city again. And at this point, I can kind of just 4. And every time that like he's taking the city, he's losing a unit. And this is a good turn to showcase that. I think he might give up here. I'm not sure. He tends to tilt when he's things aren't going his way. So I think he ends up leaving the game or just not playing. So I think that might happen here. I guess we'll see. So the other thing I wanted to mention too is if you have a situation like this, you can also pillage these roads. So even when he does own it, he's not able to take things out. And that can be really effective too. In a similar way. All right, so we'll see if he takes it here. I think he does. I'm not in a rush really here, right? I'm gonna take some of his units because why not? But all right, so that's another musket gone. It's 5. Okay, he's giving me a cav now. This is 6. Okay, another cav. 7. All right, now I think I can just kind of take this. Yeah, and then he gives up after losing that general. But that is more or less all I really wanted to showcase here. He gives up here after losing the general. But that's all I really wanted to showcase here. He lost 7 units inside the city. I lost a single unit, right? Now, I lost some other units, and that's going to be happening too. He lost a couple other units too, but I'm mostly focusing on whatever's in this city. And in this case, it's really, really, really hard for him to hold. If we like, I can scroll back because people might be curious to see what it started like. He was originally attacking someone else, and then I just kind of made sure I could grab these tiles. But he's got a lot more unit mass than I do. He kind of eventually pulls them over. So it goes to show like he like if you are able to pick and choose your battles, and I'm not rushing here. I'm building a ton of units, but frankly, I don't even know if I needed to. I could have just been building sim at this point. And this is kind of what's really nice about if you're planning your war properly. You can kind of just sim right behind everything, and no one can really punish you because you're not losing any units, but they're hemorrhaging units. Um, all the while, like all my arty shots are going into the city. His have to be going into the city if he wants to keep holding it. If he lets me hold the city, I can just use the roads freely and then go and, you know, destroy all of his stuff. And the reason for that is because his arties will not have vision, right? Whereas mine will. So this is like a fundamental aspect of arty war, and a lot of this can be used in other wars as well. For instance, it's really common if you have, you know, in a classical war, there's a large lack of viable melee units. It's usually just spears and then the occasional horseman. And if you're able to recap a city twice or something like that, you can effectively completely stall him out because he'll be out of melee units to capture with. Not to mention they don't have as much mobility because of roads and whatnot. Now, obviously, you're going to have to recap it as well. But again, if you can set it up properly, you're able to actually do that consistently. So this is all I really wanted to showcase on this video. This is obviously especially exemplified with arties, but fundamental concept pertains going forward as well. Okay, so that's all I really had for this video. If you like this kind of thing, let me know. And whenever I find, you know, highlights from tournament games or highlights from my own games, I can kind of try to showcase them and then maybe teach you guys something you didn't really know about. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if this is something you like seeing.